What's the most hilarious thing your child did during an important moment? As a single dad, I've learned to juggle a lot of things, but last month I faced my biggest challenge yet, a final round video interview for my dream job while watching my 4-year-old son, Jake. The interview was scheduled for 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. I'd been preparing for weeks, had my best shirt pressed, and I'd set up a professional background in my home office. The only problem? Jake's daycare had called in sick that morning, leaving me scrambling. With no other options, I decided to risk it and keep Jake entertained in the living room while I interviewed. Jake, Daddy has a very important phone call, I explained, setting him up with his tablet, snacks, and every toy he owned. I need you to be super quiet for 30 minutes, okay? Okay, Daddy, I'll be the quietest ninja ever, he promised, already absorbed in his cartoons. The interview started perfectly. I was nailing every question, discussing my experience with confidence, and I could tell the hiring manager was impressed. We were about 20 minutes in when she asked about my leadership experience. I was in the middle of describing a successful project when I heard Jake calling from the living room. Daddy, I need help. I tried to ignore it, hoping he'd figure it out himself, but his voice got louder. Daddy, it's an emergency. I muted my microphone and called back. Just a minute, buddy. The hiring manager smiled understandingly. Kids, right? Take your time. I unmuted and continued my answer, but Jake's voice was getting more urgent. Daddy, the toilet is making funny noises. My heart sank. Jake had been potty training, and funny noises usually meant disaster. I'm so sorry, I told the interviewer. Could I have just one quick moment? I muted my microphone and rushed to the bathroom. Jake was standing there looking proud, but the toilet was overflowing. Water was spreading across the bathroom floor and seeping into the hallway. I used a lot of toilet paper, Daddy, like a whole lot. I quickly turned off the water valve and grabbed every towel I could find. Jake, go back to the living room. Daddy will be right back. I rushed back to my office, slightly out of breath, but trying to maintain composure. Sorry about that, I said, unmuting myself. Where were we? But as I started talking again, I heard Jake's voice getting closer to my office. Daddy, why is there water everywhere? It's like a swimming pool. Then I heard little feet running through water, getting closer to my office door. Daddy, I'm coming to help. Before I could stop him, Jake burst through my office door, soaking wet from the knees down, carrying a mop that was twice his size. Don't worry, Daddy, I'm helping clean up the water, he announced proudly, dragging the wet mop across my office carpet. The hiring manager's eyes went wide as she took in the scene, me in my professional shirt, a soaking wet preschooler with a giant mop and the sound of dripping water. But Jake wasn't done. He looked directly at the camera and waved enthusiastically. Hi, are you Daddy's friend? Daddy made a big mess in the bathroom. There's water everywhere. Wanna see? Before I could stop him, Jake grabbed my laptop and started turning it toward the hallway to show off the flood damage. Jake, no! I lunged for the laptop, but he was already giving the hiring manager a full tour. Look, it's like a river, and Daddy was making funny noises in there. He said bad words too. The camera was spinning wildly as I tried to wrestle the laptop away from my helpful 4-year-old. I'm so sorry, I said to the interviewer, who was now getting a dizzying view of my ceiling, floor, and Jake's excited face. That's when Jake decided to share more helpful information. Daddy talks to himself a lot when he's nervous. He was practicing in the mirror this morning saying, I'm the best candidate for this position, over and over. The hiring manager was trying not to laugh as I finally got control of the laptop. And sometimes Daddy cries when he pays bills, Jake added cheerfully. But he says it's happy crying. I wanted to disappear into the floor. My professional image was completely destroyed. My house was flooded, and my 4-year-old had just revealed my most embarrassing moments to my potential future boss. Jake, buddy, why don't you go watch TV while Daddy finishes his call? Okay, nice meeting you, Daddy's friend. I hope you give Daddy the job because we really need the money. He waved goodbye and skipped out of the room, leaving wet footprints and me sitting there in stunned silence. The hiring manager was quiet for a moment, then started laughing. Well, she said, that was certainly the most memorable interview I've ever conducted. I was sure I'd blown it completely. 2 days later, I got the job.